Chapter 1. About Mount Shasta, Telos and Lemuria. The Magic Mountain, by Aurelia. Mount Shasta is a most majestic mountain that anchors the northern end of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. It is located in Siskiyou County in Northern California, approximately 40 miles from the Oregon border. Mount Shasta is the cone of an extinct volcano rising to a height of 14,162 feet above sea level, and is the largest volcanic peak in the continental United States. The Ascended Masters have revealed that Mount Shasta can also be considered an embodiment of the Great Central Sun. Mount Shasta, more than just a mountain, is one of the most sacred places on the planet. It is a mystical power source for this earth and a focus for a city of light, for angels, spirit guides, spaceships and ascended masters from the light realm and many dimensions. Mount Shasta is also the home of the survivors of ancient Lemuria. For those gifted with clairvoyant abilities, Mount Shasta is embraced in a gigantic, etheric purple pyramid whose capstone extends far beyond this planet into space, and connects us intergalactically to the confederation of planets for this sector of the Milky Way galaxy. This awesome pyramid also includes an inverted version of itself that extends down to the very core of the Earth. Mount Shasta represents the entry point of the light grids for this planet. It is the location where most of the energy arrives initially from the galactic and universal core before it is disseminated to other mountains and into the rest of the grids. Most mountaintops, especially tall mountains, are beacons of light feeding the light grids of this planet. Strange lights and sounds are often seen or heard on the mountain. Lenticular clouds, shadows and outstanding sunsets add to its mystical aura, and there are many openings and portals into the fifth-dimensional cities that still exist from the time of Lemuria. Mount Shasta is the home of many present-day Lemurians who are survivors of the sinking of the continent of Lemuria over 12,000 years ago. Yes, our Lemurian brothers and sisters are real. They are well and physically alive, and living a fifth-dimensional existence that is yet invisible to our eyes. The surface vibration is currently transitioning from the third dimension into a fourth, fifth-dimensional reality. The other dimensions exist around us, but most people living on the surface do not yet possess a consciousness evolved enough to perceive them. Prior to the sinking of their continent, the ancient Lemurians were fully aware of the eventual destiny of their beloved land and used their mastery of energy, crystals, sound and vibrations to hollow out a vast underground city with the intention of preserving their culture, their treasures and their records of ancient Earth history. This section of history has been lost to humanity since the sinking of Atlantis. Lemuria was once a vast continent, larger than North America, connected to parts of California, Oregon, Nevada and Washington states. This large continent disappeared overnight into the Pacific Ocean over 12,000 years ago during a vast cataclysm. All inhabitants of the Earth at that time considered Lemuria their motherland, and there was much grieving on the Earth when it was lost. Approximately 25,000 Lemurians were able to migrate into the interior of Mount Shasta along with the most important of their various administration centers prior to the sinking of the motherland. Beloveds, you who are reading this now know in your hearts that your former brothers and sisters of Lemuria never left you. They are still here in physical, immortalized bodies, living life in an unlimited fifth-dimensional reality. Native Americans believe that Mount Shasta is a place of such immense grandeur that its existence can only be attributed to the creation of a very great spirit. They also believe that an invisible race of little people, about 4 feet tall, live along its slopes as guardians. These wondrous people, often referred to as the little people of Mount Shasta, are also physical but of a vibration usually invisible to us. Some of them are occasionally seen in this dimension around the mountain. The reason they do not show themselves physically to many people is that they have a collective fear of humans. At one time, when they were as visible as we are, humans maligned them. They became so fearful of humans that they asked the spiritual hierarchy of this planet for a dispensation to elevate their frequency. Now they remain invisible and are able to continue their evolution unharmed and in peace. There are reports of the Bigfoot race being seen on some remote areas of Mount Shasta, along with many other mysterious beings. The Bigfoot people are now very few in number throughout the world and around Mount Shasta. They are of average intelligence and possess a peaceful heart. They have obtained a dispensation that allows for invisibility at will. In this way they are able to avoid confrontation with us and, like the little people, avoid physical harm, mutilation and enslavement in the name of science. We have not yet, as a species, truly understood that we are invited guests on this planet. We are the guests of our gracious Mother Earth, who has volunteered to provide a platform for the evolution of the many kingdoms that reside here. Humans are only one of those kingdoms. It was firmly intended, and agreed to in the beginning, that all kingdoms would be honored and allowed to share this planet, equally. It was this way for a very long time. Unfortunately, for hundreds of thousands of years, humans have taken over, arrogantly thinking that we are the superior race with the right to control and manipulate other kingdoms. Many species in the animal kingdom have also become invisible. They are still here but in a slightly higher frequency and thus invisible to us. Where do you think all the supposedly extinct species have gone? Many of them are extinct because they have made a collective choice not to interact with us anymore. Those animal species which are still physically here are not always loved and honored by us. Go into your heart and explore how most animals are treated, used and abused by this supposedly superior race. Today, several spiritual groups live in the Mount Shasta area. Truth seekers who have felt and heard in their hearts the call of the mountain, have moved to this area and feel they have finally come home. The memory of their far distant Lemurian ancestry is calling them back to a former point of origin. On a clear day, Mount Shasta stands as a white jewel and can be seen from at least 100 miles away. People who live nearby have remarkable stories about the 14,162-foot volcano. The most remarkable stories are the legends of a mysterious people who live inside the mountain, albeit in a fifth-dimensional frequency. They are said to be descendants of an ancient society from the lost continent of Lemuria, living deep inside the mountain in round houses, enjoying unlimited health, wealth and true brotherhood. They have preserved their ancient culture. The Lemurians living within the mountain are commonly described as graceful beings, 7 feet tall or more, with long, flowing hair. They dress at times in white robes and sandals, or in very colorful clothing. They are said to have long, slender necks and bodies which they adorn with beautiful decorative collars made of beads or precious stones. They have evolved their sixth sense, which enables them to communicate among themselves through extrasensory perception. They can also teleport and make themselves invisible at will. Their mother tongue is the Lemurian language, called Solara Maru, but they also speak an impeccable English with a slight British accent. They have chosen to learn English as a second language because they live in America. Around 1940, Dr. M. Doriel claimed that he visited the Lemurians inside their mountain. He said that the space he was shown was about 2 miles high, 20 miles long and 15 miles wide. He wrote that the light inside the mountain was as bright as a summer day and was created by a giant glowing mass of light suspended in the center of that great cavern. Another man reported that he fell asleep on Mount Shasta only to be awakened by a Lemurian who led him inside the mountain to his cave, which was paved with gold. The Lemurian told the man that there were a series of tunnels left by volcanoes that ran under the earth like freeways. A world within a world. The Lemurians had reportedly mastered atomic energy, telepathic and clairvoyant skills, electronics and science as much as 18,000 years ago. Most of their technology is controlled through thought. In ancient times, they propelled their boats using energy radiated by crystals. They used airships for travel to Atlantis and other places. Today they have a fleet of spaceships, called the Silver Fleet, in which they travel to and from the mountain and out into space. They have the ability to render their spaceships invisible and silent to avoid being detected by the local and national military. Although they are physical in nature, they are able to shift their energy fields from third to fourth and fifth dimensional vibration and become visible or invisible at will. Many people report seeing strange lights on the mountain. One explanation is that there are spacecraft constantly entering and exiting a spaceport deep within the mountain. Mount Shasta is not only a home for the Lemurians, but is also an interplanetary and intergalactic multi-dimensional portal. There is a huge etheric city of light above Mount Shasta called the Crystal City of the Seven Rays. At some point in our near future, hopefully within the next 12 to 20 years, this wondrous city of light is destined to be lowered into our physical realm, and become the first city of light to manifest tangibly on the surface of this planet. In order for this to happen, the people who live here will have to match its vibration in their own consciousness. You can easily visit the Mount Shasta area without reading or hearing about Lemurians, but if you have some former connections with them, you may be blessed with some revelations. Mount Shasta draws visitors from all over the world, some seeking spiritual insight, others seeking to bask in the beauty and natural wonders that Mother Nature has to offer in this unique alpine region. Everyone loves a mystery, especially a mystery about Mount Shasta. There have been many fascinating myths and legends written about this Northern California giant. The solitary mountain always slumbers on, her secrets intact. But every so often, another mysterious story surfaces. New casts of characters emerge and attention is centered once more on the mystic mountain. That's the way it has been for years, and probably always will be. Mount Shasta has a tendency to reveal herself only to those who honor life, themselves for who they truly are, the earth and all other kingdoms sharing this planet.